There comes a quiet moment in every life when you look around and realize that the people who once understood your silence no longer recognize your thoughts, that the conversations which once filled your heart now leave your spirit empty, and that the roads you once walked together have slowly divided without anyone announcing the separation. And it is in that moment that most men commit a tragic mistake, because instead of accepting that change is the oldest law governing this universe, they cling to what has already completed its purpose, allowing disappointment to become bitterness, bitterness to become resentment, and resentment to become an invisible prison they carry long after the people themselves have disappeared, forgetting that no chain is stronger than the one forged by an unwilling mind. Observe nature carefully, and you will discover that nothing worthy of admiration struggles against its own season, because spring never mourns the departure of winter. Autumn does not resent the fading of summer, and the ancient oak does not curse the leaves that eventually abandon its branches. For every departure serves the quiet wisdom of renewal. Yet man believes himself exempt from this law, expecting friendships, environments, and familiar faces to remain untouched by time, even while he himself is changing. Every single day, the greatest misunderstanding is believing that every person who enters your life has been sent to accompany you until your final breath, when in truth many arrive only to teach you a lesson that your future self could never have learned alone. And once that lesson has fulfilled its purpose, life gently begins to separate your paths, not as punishment, but as preparation for the next stage of your becoming. Do not accuse them for no longer walking beside you, and do not accuse yourself for feeling the distance, because rivers separate naturally when the land beneath them changes, and no amount of force can persuade two streams flowing toward different oceans to remain forever joined. Many believe that hatred is the opposite of love, yet they fail to understand that hatred is often love refusing to let go, because the bitter man still allows those who disappointed him to occupy his thoughts every morning and every evening, granting them authority over a peace they no longer deserve to disturb. Ask yourself honestly whether your anger is protecting your dignity or merely extending your suffering, because resentment always disguises itself as justice while quietly stealing the years that could have been devoted to wisdom, discipline, and inner freedom. The Stoic does not pretend that betrayal never happened, nor does he deny the sting of abandonment, but he understands that every wound offered by another person can either become a scar that reminds him of strength or an infection that poisons every future relationship. And the choice between those two destinies belongs entirely to his own reason. You cannot become free while carrying invisible arguments with people who have already continued living their own lives, because every imagined conversation inside your mind is another thread, binding you to a past that no longer exists, except within your memory. There is another danger awaiting those who begin to grow beyond their old surroundings, and that danger is pride disguised as progress, because it is easy to replace resentment with arrogance, convincing yourself that you have become superior simply because your ambitions have changed while theirs remained familiar. But wisdom never measures itself by comparison, because the mountain does not mock the valley, nor does the sea despise the river, for each fulfills its own nature without demanding applause from the other. If your path now requires greater discipline, deeper solitude, or quieter ambitions, then walk that path with gratitude rather than judgment, remembering that every person is fighting battles hidden behind expressions the world misunderstands, and perhaps the same people who cannot accompany you today were exactly the companions your younger self required yesterday. True growth does not announce itself through contempt, but through compassion, because the mature mind understands that different destinations require different travelers, and there is no honor in condemning someone simply because their journey no longer resembles your own. The time you spend replaying old disappointments is time stolen from the person you are capable of becoming, and every hour devoted to proving someone wrong is an hour not invested in proving your own character right. Direct your attention instead toward mastering your habits, strengthening your judgment, refining your patience, and guarding your inner peace with greater determination than any emperor would guard the walls of his city. Because kingdoms rise and collapse according to fortune, but the kingdom within your own soul remains yours to govern until your final breath. Those who truly outgrow their past rarely feel the need to announce it, because growth speaks through quieter decisions, stronger discipline, calmer reactions, and an increasing inability to waste precious life, chasing validation from people whose opinions no longer determine the quality of one's character. Leave quietly, improve consistently, forgive sincerely, and continue walking without demanding that others understand why your footsteps now lead elsewhere. Remember this whenever loneliness tempts you to return to places your soul has already outgrown. For comfort has persuaded many men to abandon greatness, while fear has convinced countless others to remain loyal to environments that quietly destroyed their potential. Yet the universe has never promised that maturity would preserve every friendship or every familiar face, only that it would reveal which ones belong to your next chapter. Therefore, release people without resentment, remember them without bitterness, and continue forward without hatred. Because the strongest man is never the one who defeats his enemies, nor the one who wins every argument, but the one who possesses such complete mastery over his own mind that even disappointment cannot convince him to become cruel. And when you finally reach that state, you will understand that outgrowing people was never about leaving them behind, but about refusing to leave your own peace behind with them.